Excuse my hair today, I have no idea what's going on here. What is that bit back there? Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you my minimal makeup routine. This is basically my routine for a lazy Sunday morning. There's a few new products in this video that I wanted to talk to you about, and then some old favourites as well, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So as always, I'm going to get started with foundation, and today I'm going to be using a new one which I have been loving so much recently, especially on the weekends where I just want something that I know is going to work and be super easy to blend and all of that. And a lot of you have actually asked for my thoughts on this when you've seen in the info box of my videos that I've been wearing this, and it's the Chanel Beige foundation, which I think comes out this next week, if not already out. I can't remember the launch date. I feel like it's the 15th of January, but that might be a completely different date for something else in my brain. But anyway, it's out super soon and I am absolutely in love with this. This arrived on my doorstep just before Christmas, and it was like the best Christmas present ever because I've been wanting to try this for so long. Ever since I saw the first press release for it, I've been so excited. But anyway, I am rambling. It's a beautiful light to medium coverage foundation depending on what you use to blend it in, etc. I find that with a beauty blender I get a really lovely light coverage, but with a brush or my fingers I can build up to a more medium, sometimes to high coverage. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a high coverage foundation, but it is very, very buildable, and I don't ever feel like I've gone too far with this. For me, it's very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Magic foundation, but slightly more skin-like, if that makes sense. There will be a review on this coming up on my blog this week, so I will link that in the info box and you can keep an eye on that, and I'll tweet a link when it's up so you can hear my full thoughts without me, you know, taking up all of your time in this video. So with this foundation, I take one pump onto the back of my hand and then dot it onto my face. Then I blend that in with my Real Techniques beauty sponge. And on days where I'm feeling a more minimal makeup look, I don't even use a full pump of this. I basically use half a pump and blend that in around my face. And that way it just gives a really glowing, lovely light coverage to my skin. So that foundation just gives a really nice light coverage when used with the Real Techniques beauty blender. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but there's still a little bit of redness coming through on my cheeks and around my nose. And that's fine because I just use a really lightweight concealer just to add a little bit more coverage on top of that. But generally on the weekend I don't really mind too much about my natural redness and things like that showing through because it's just a weekend and we're chill. So saying that, I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Brush on Glow BB highlighter as always. I just use this under my eyes just to counteract any dark circles and things like that, and then I use it around my nose as well just for the redness. This one's also quite highlighting as well, so I can use this across my cheeks whilst I'm doing my under eyes as well, and that negates the need for me to use a highlighter. So I've applied the concealer under my eyes and around my nose, and then also a little bit in between my eyebrows because things get a bit red there, which is slightly strange. And then I'm just blending that in with the Real Techniques blending sponge as well. Once my base is done, I move on to bronzer, and this is for nothing more than to make me feel better. Even if I don't do my full minimal makeup look, I just do my base. I always add a bit of bronzer just for me because it makes me feel better. I just feel like my face always looks better with a little bit of bronzer. It just helps to give it a little bit more dimension, and I usually use the Tanya Burr Rosy Flush palette because I love the bronzer in this. You guys will know if you watch a lot of my videos, I use this quite a lot just because the bronzer in it is such a good bronzer. It is very, very well loved, but for good reason. The powder is just really finely milled, it blends really nicely and is the perfect colour for my skin tone. So I'm going to apply this on a Zoeva Luxe Grand powder brush. I am actually on the hunt for a new powder bronzer brush at the moment, so if you guys have any that you can recommend, definitely let me know because I feel like that is the one void in my brush life that I need to fill. So recommendations please if you have any good ones. You guys know the drill when it comes to bronzer. It goes on my temples, cheekbones, nose and neck, and that is me pretty much done. And I'm not going too heavy with the bronzer because obviously this is a minimal makeup look, so whereas I would normally contour and bronze and all of that, this is just a light wash of bronzer. Next we move on to eyes. This is a bit of an optional one. Some days I completely leave my eyes and maybe add just a bit of mascara, but some days I like to add a tiny bit of definition along the upper lash line. So the first thing I do is use the cream shade of my Lorac Pro Palette, which is just a really neutral, light neutral pink, and I pop that on a Zoeva Luxe Smoky Shader brush and I just dab that all over my eyelid. And as you can see, that gives a very light wash of colour, but it just helps to neutralise my eyelid. And then I take my Zoeva Luxe Powder Fusion brush and I just blend out the edges of that. Even though it's a very neutral colour, I just like to make sure that all of the edges are blended. And then to add a little bit of definition along the upper lash line, I use the shades Sable and Espresso, to create a slight flick. It's not a wing or anything like that, but just to elongate the eye slightly and add a little bit more definition and thickness to my lashes. So I start by taking Sable on the tip of the same brush I used for my eyeshadow, and then I blend that along the outer 2/3 of my upper lash line. And then I just take Espresso on the same brush, again just on the tip, and just pop that on the very outer corner, so the last third of my upper lash line. And finally, to finish my eyes off, I just add a little bit of the Aerin Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara. This is a really lovely, fluttery, natural lash kind of mascara. It does make your lashes very long and very volumized, but it still looks much more natural than my NARS Audacious mascara or Max Factor False Lash Effect. So this is my more minimal mascaras, which really says something about my mascara taste. So that is eyes done, and now we move on to brows. And on weekends I keep my brows super simple. I'm really happy with the shape of them at the moment and the thickness, so I don't really feel like I need to do too much to them if I'm not wearing a lot of eye makeup. So I just go in with the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper just to set them in place, and it adds a little bit more definition and just beefs up the hairs ever so slightly. This is just my ultimate brow product. This is the one thing I feel never changes in my routine. And to finish things off, I'll normally apply a tiny bit of lip product, and this varies from one day to another. So some days I'll use a gloss, some days I won't use anything, a balm, or some days I'll use a lipstick. So this is the one part in my minimal makeup routine that I do at the weekend that tends to change quite a bit. At the moment I alternate between 3 that have been in my makeup bag constantly recently. The first one you will have seen me wear a lot in videos. This is Tom Ford's Sable Smoke. It's a really pretty neutral natural pink, and I just absolutely love this for daily wear. It's really nice with a minimal makeup look, just dabbed into the lips very lightly. If I'm feeling something that's a bit more hydrating but has a little bit of pigment, then I'll go for the Topshop Lip Perfector. So check these out if you have a Topshop counter near you, because these are a really good dupe for the Instant Light Lip Perfectors. And then if I just want a balm, I go in with the Glossier Balm.com Balm Universal. I'm not really sure what this is meant to be called, but I got this recently. Alex kindly gave me one because she got a set of 3. Why do they sell them on Net-a-Porter in 3? We'll never know. But I really enjoyed using this on my lips. It's just super hydrating, and for me, I get very, very dry lips. You guys know this. I often put this on before videos as well when I start filming, because the camera really picks up on my dry lips. So a lot of the time, if I'm not feeling like wearing a lip product and I'm just going to be around the house, then I pop this on. So today I'm going to do a mixture of these 2 lip products just so you can see what each one looks like. I'm going to start off with Tom Ford Sable Smoke and just pop that very lightly on to my lips. And then I'm just applying the Topshop Lip Perfector over the top of that. And that is it for my lazy Sunday minimal makeup look. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you're new. I hope you're all having a lovely day, evening, or weekend whenever you watch this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!